Daf Yomi, Tractate Bava Batra, page 9b, starting with the last line of 9a, which is Amar Rava, Hai Milsa Ishtai Li Ula, Mishagesh Urchase Deime, which is a very cryptic statement, and I don't quite understand what he meant by this, but Rava said, the following matter was told to me by the infant who perverted the ways of his mother. That must be some, code for something. By the infant who perverted the ways of his mother. Anyway, he said in the name of Rabbi Elazar, what is the meaning? Who is the infant who perverted the ways of his mother? So it sounds like some like cryptic. He said in the name of Rabbi Elazar, what is the meaning of that which is written, and he donned charity like a coat of mail? What is meant by Vayilbash Tzedakah Kesiryon? Isaiah 59:17. This verse serves to tell you that just as with regard to this coat of mail, each and every scale of which is fashioned combined to form a large coat of mail, so too with regard to charity, each and every pruta that one gives combines to form a great sum. Rabbi Chanina says the same idea is derived from here as it is stated, and all our charity is as a polluted garment. Isaiah 64, verse 5. Just as with regard to this garment, each and every thread in it combines to form one large garment, so too with regard to charity, each and every pruta combines to form a great sum. Polluted garment. They basically it's entirely polluted, so it's entire. They're not focused on the fact that it's polluted. They're focused on the fact that it's entirely part of the garment. Okay? Anyhow, the Gemara comments, why was this sage called the infant? Interesting. Answer my question. They're asking the question. The Gemara comments, why was this sage called the infant who perverted the ways of his mother? It was because of the following incident. Rav Ahadvoi Bar Ami asked Rav Sheshet, from where is it derived that a leper renders a person impure through contact during his days of counting? In other words, during the 7 days that the leper must count from the start of his purification process, when he brings his birds until he completes that process with the bringing of his sacrifices, Rav Sheshet said to him, since he renders his garment impure, as it states that on the 7th day of his purification, he must wash his clothes. See Leviticus 14:9. He also renders people impure. Rav Ahadvoi said to him, perhaps connected impurity is different. Tuma bechubarim shani, meaning perhaps he renders his garments impure because they are connected to the source of the impurity. But this does not mean that he renders impure a person whom he touches. A proof for this distinction may be brought from the fact that if one moves an animal carcass, an action that renders him impure, even if there was no actual contact with the carcass, he renders the garments that he is wearing impure, but does not render another person impure. Rav Sheshet said to him, but from where do we derive that the carcass of a creeping animal renders a person impure? Is it not because we know that it renders his garments impure? Rav Ahadvoi said to him, Rav Achadvoi Rav Achad Voi Amar Le. It is written explicitly. It is written explicitly. It is written explicitly. It is written explicitly with regard to the carcass of a creeping animal or a man who touches any creeping animal, whereby he may be made unclean. Leviticus 22, verse 5. Rav Sheshet said to him, "But from where do we derive that semen renders a person impure? Is it not because we say that since it renders his garments impure?" See Leviticus 15:17. It also renders a person impure. Rav Achad Voi said to him, "It is also written explicitly with regard to Simon, or a man from whom Zerah is expelled." That's Hebrew for Simon. Leviticus 22:4. And the sages expound the superfluous word "or" as serving to include as impure one who touches Simon. Okay? The Gemara relates that with each of his answers, Rav Hadvoi responded to Rav Sheshet in a mocking tone, intimating that he doubted Rav Sheshet's grasp of Torah verses. Rav Sheshet was deeply offended, and as a punishment, Rav Ahadvoi Bar Ami became mute and forgot his learning. Rav Ahadvoi's mother came and wept before Rav Sheshet. She cried and cried, but he ignored her. And as she had once been Rav Sheshet's nursemaid, wow. So Rav Ahadvoi's mother was Rav Sheshet's nursemaid. Wow. She said to him, "Look at these breasts of mine, which you suckled." Wow. Upon hearing that, Rav Sheshet prayed for mercy for Rabbi Hadvoi, and he was healed. Since it was Rav Hadvoi whose behavior led his mother to his mother acting in this manner, he was referred to the infant who perverted his mother's ways. Basically, she revealed herself, and this is a shtickle, not acceptable. It can be seen as perverted, even though she was doing it for altruistic purposes. Al kol panim, it was still considered perverted. So he was the infant who perverted his mother's ways. It's very interesting because last night I was talking to somebody and I said infants a few times. And then today's daf, and I didn't even see this daf. Okay? And it wasn't a self-prophecy either, because I did a little bit of self-prophecy starting from daf 10, which was on Saturday night, almost 13 days ago. So you could have said that it was in my consciousness 13 days ago, but I didn't do it from daf 9. This is daf 9. Okay? So there's some kind of something going on here. The Gemara comments with regard. The Gemara comments with regard to that which we arrived at, this particular subject. Let us clarify the matter. From where do we derive that a leper renders impure a person with whom he comes into contact during his days of counting? As it is taught in a Braita, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai says, washing your garments is stated with respect to his days of counting, and washing garments is stated with respect to his days of confirmed leprosy, after he had been declared conclusively impure by a priest, just as there when he is confirmed a leper, he renders the person impure, as explicitly stated in the Torah. So to here, during his days of counting, he renders a person impure. The Gemara resumes its discussion on the virtues of giving charity. Rabbi Elazar said, Rabbi Elazar said, one who performs acts of charity in secret is greater than Moses, our teacher. Yoter Moshe Rabbeinu. One Gadol Ose. How could you say that? There was no one greater in Israel than Moses. How could he be greater than Moses? With regard to giving charity, one who performs acts of charity in secret is greater than Moses, our teacher. Whereas with regard to Moses, our teacher is written, "For I was afraid of the anger and the wrath." Deuteronomy 9:19. With regard to one who performs acts of charity is written, a gift in secret pacifies anger, and a present in the bosom fierce wrath. Proverbs 21:14. The Gemara comments, and this statement disagrees with a statement of Rabbi Yitzchak, as Rabbi Yitzchak said, a secret gift pacifies anger, but it does not pacify wrath, as it is stated in a present in the bosom fierce wrath, meaning that although a present is in the bosom, in other words, even if one gives charity in secret, nevertheless fierce wrath can still harm him. There are those who say that Rabbi Yitzchak says as follows: a judge who accepts a bribe brings fierce wrath upon the world, as it is stated, and a present in the bosom fierce wrath. Rabbi Yitzchak says, anyone who gives a pruta to a poor person receives 6 blessings, and whoever consoles him with words of comfort and encouragement receives 11 blessings. The Gemara explains, one who gives a pruta to a poor person receives 6 blessings, and it is written, is it not to share your bread with the hungry, and that you shall bring the poor that are cast out to your house? When you see the naked, you cover him, Isaiah 58:7. And the next verse lists 6 blessings. Then shall your light break forth like the dawn, and your health shall spring forth speedily, and your righteousness shall go forth before you. The glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard. Then shall you call, and the Lord shall answer. You shall cry, and he shall say, here I am. Isaiah 58:8-9. And whoever consoles a poor person with words of comfort and encouragement receives 11 blessings, as it is stated. And if you draw out your soul to the hungry and satisfy the afflicted soul, then shall your light shine in darkness, and your gloom shall be as the noonday. And the Lord shall guide you continually, and satisfy your thirst and drought. And they shall be of you, shall build old waste places, and you shall rise up the foundations of many generations. I guess there's 11 blessings there. Rabbi Yitzchak says, what is the meaning of that which is written? He who performs charity and mercy finds life, charity and honor. Proverbs 21:21. Is this to say that because one has pursued charity, he himself shall find charity? That is, shall the reward of one who has always been given charity be that he will eventually become poor and other people will act charitably toward him? Rather, the verse serves to tell you that with regard to anyone who pursues charity, giving to the poor and leading others to do so, the Holy One, blessed be He, furnishes him with money with which to perform his acts of charity. Rabbi Nachman Bar Yitzchak says, the Holy One, blessed be He, sends in people who are deserving of charity, so that He will reap His just reward for helping them. The Gemara comments, what does this statement serve to exclude? It serves to exclude Rabba's homiletical interpretation of a different voice. As Rabba taught, what is the meaning of that which is written? Let them be made to stumble before you. Deal thus with them in the time of your anger. Jeremiah 18:23. The prophet Jeremiah said before the Holy One, blessed be He, Master of the universe, even when those wicked men who pursued me subdue their inclinations and seek to perform acts of charity before you, cause them to stumble upon dishonest people who are not deserving of charity, so that they will not receive reward for coming to their assistance. Did Jeremiah truly say this? Rabbi Yehoshua ben Levi says, anyone who is accustomed to performing acts of charity merits blessing. He will have sons who are masters of wisdom, masters of wealth, and masters of Haggadah. The Gemara explains, masters of wisdom, as it is written,